Hey guys, it's coach and nutritionist Dean from Triage Method, and today I'm going to give you my top 10 bulking tips to get you absolutely jacked out of your mind. One of the biggest issues that you're going to experience with bulking is not getting enough calories in consistently, because this is the thing that's going to drive at the adaptations and performance that results in new muscle tissue.
And you know, the most important part about putting size on is you got to eat big to get big.
So let's talk about the different ways that you can overcome this. So first on the list is spacing your meals out throughout the day. By spacing your meals evenly throughout the day, you're giving yourself the best chance to hit your calorie target rather than leaving everything towards the evening and forcing yourself into a position where you have to get a lot of calories in that 3 or 4 hour window before you go to bed. Common issue that people experience here is that they have to resort to high calorie junk food, which leaves them feeling a little bit bloated, and it might potentially then disrupt their sleep. So if you're only eating 2 or 3 times per day, eat 4 or 5 times per day, space those meals and snacks out a little bit more, and try to get a few more calories at the earlier part of the day as well. Number 2 on the list is liquid calories. When you're cutting, you want to avoid liquid calories at all costs because they don't provide much satiation. But when you're bulking, the opposite is often what we're trying to achieve. So we're really trying to take advantage of the low satiety to calorie ratio that you get with liquid calories. Some good examples here include whole milk, chocolate milk, sports drinks, fruit juices, and smoothies. You can easily add an extra 200, 300, or 400 calories to each one of your meals if you had one of these drinks along with that meal. Number 3 is choosing carbs that are lower in volume and easier to digest. Good sources here include jasmine rice, orzo, cereal, white bread, and rice pudding. These are easier to eat and won't fill you up as much as foods like potatoes, quinoa, and brown rice. Next, we want to use higher amounts of fats to try and hit our calorie goals a little bit easier. With fat being the most calorie dense of the 3 primary macronutrients at 9 calories per gram, it makes sense to use plenty of fat in the diet whenever we're trying to hit our calories for bulking. So make sure to use olive oil when you're cooking or as a dressing over certain foods. Use peanut butter in some of your meals. Eat some more dark chocolate. Use a little bit of cream in your smoothies, and make sure that you're snacking on nuts throughout the day as well. Number 5 is to potentially consider lowering your protein intake. Now, one of the problems that I see in my coaching practice is people trying to bulk with a super high protein intake. Now, this isn't a problem in and of itself, but protein is pretty satiating. So if you're struggling to get those calories in, you might be shooting yourself in the foot by trying to maintain a very high protein intake. You can safely go to the lower end of the protein range, about 1.6 to 1.8 grams of protein per kg of body weight, because being in a calorie surplus is anabolic in and of itself, and it's totally fine to have slightly lower protein intake in this context. Number 6 is to use higher calorie sauces and dips. This is a fairly easy one because you're probably using some level of sauces in your meals already, and you just need to make a simple swap to one food or another, and this can easily increase your calories. Some good examples here include carbonara or cheesy sauces for pasta, sweet chili sauce, guacamole, hummus, and mayonnaise. Number 7 is to try and use higher calorie proteins. Similar to my point earlier about using higher fats in the diet, you can also increase your fat intake by using some of these fattier protein sources. Some examples here include fatty mince, fatty cuts of steak like ribeye, salmon, mackerel, pork, lamb, chicken thighs with the skin on, breaded or battered meats and fish, eggs, and certain soy substitutes which use higher amounts of fat in the production process. Number 8 on the list is one that's usually very well received by a lot of my clients that are in a bulking phase, and that is to add desserts to some of your meals. Now, while we still want to eat mostly healthy food when we're in a bulk, if you're really struggling to get the calories in, your diet is mostly healthy and varied, then it's not a problem to use some of these higher calorie dessert and sweet foods. Some good examples here that my clients like include Nutella on a little bit of toast, some biscuits, ice cream, custard, or rice pudding. Number 9 on the list is to have a jar in your house that is filled with nuts, dried fruit, and trail mix. Because nuts, dried fruit, and trail mix are quite calorie dense, this is a really good way of just upping your calories and interspersing these little 100 to 200 calorie bombs throughout the day. Number 10, last one, is to consider using an intra-workout carbohydrate supplement. While there's probably not that much of a benefit to intra-workout carbohydrate supplementation during your resistance training workouts, it is an easy way of getting extra carbs into the diet and thus hitting your calorie goals. And if your workouts are particularly long or you do multiple sports at the same time, this can provide an additional performance benefit as well. So that's it for this one, guys. If you have any questions, do leave them in the comments, and make sure that you're subscribed for more evidence-based health, nutrition, and fitness content.